Hi
Hi
guys.
everyone, how are you doing today? Sorry about the technical difficulties. But we're back better than ever. Better than ever, not never. And it's the same three, me, Khalees, and Talia. And we're gonna reintroduce ourselves again. So I'm beautifully Yasmin. As you know, I have a YouTube page. And I also have a company coming out. You can follow all my social medias. It's kingdomambassador.co, and then my YouTube social media is beautifully Yasmin. And so Talia, you can take the floor. Oh, by the way, I am African and in college. So I want to let y'all know that I'm Ghanaian, to be specific. Ghanaian.
Yes, you are.
All right.
Hey, Lisa. Okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. But hi you guys. My name is Talia. And let's see. I guess we're giving background information.
Yeah.
I'm not in college. I graduated from the University of Georgia last year. Go Dogs. Not really, but go Dogs. Let's see. I got a degree in human development, family science, and I'm a behavior therapist. And yeah, I'm ready to, get into this conversation today and,
drop some mood setting in the background, girl. You set.
Some light,
It looks so nice back there. But hey, you guys, my name is Khalees, and I'm from Atlanta. I am currently in school. I go to Georgia State. I'm a film and media major. I go to Sword of the Word. I sing praise and worship at my church, and I'm just looking to get into this conversation and go deep, no sugarcoating, but also, back the word behind it. You know what I mean? So let's go.
Right.
Yes, that's the right way to do it. It's always be able to put the word behind what you're doing.
Seriously.
Can't nobody say nothing. Who gonna check me if God didn't check me?
Nobody.
Period. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into it. If you see us eating it, it's because it's supposed to be a month thing, but I've already finished the majority of my food, so yeah. So let's get right into it and talk about what does Black Lives Matter means to each and every one of us. And let's start with Talia.
Yes.
Okay, so for me, Black Lives Matter is more so just about accepting Black lives as a part of humanity and being able to say that, we are human beings, we are people, we, aren't lifeless, beings out here. We're not animals and all these other negative stereotypes and labels that are attached to us, but to really just be able to be aware that, our lives matter just as anyone else's, and that, there shouldn't be any disregard of our lives, and we are full of purpose just as the next person is. We're full of life just like the next person is. And even for those who may say, well, our life, Black lives don't matter or whatever, there are people out there crazy beyond me, but there are people out there, who are like that. And for those people, well, we're going to get into that later on, but like I said, there are people who are out there like that, or they may try to come back and say, well, all lives matter, to say only Black lives do isn't fair, whatever the case may be. But Black lives are the only lives or group of people in which we're treated less than human. And so that the whole movement, yes, we're saying Black lives matter too, but it begins with the recognition that Black lives, that we are full of life, that we are human, that we are a part of humanity, that we are men and women, we are doctors and lawyers, we are wives and husbands, we are daughters and sons, we are, friends, we are aunts, we are uncles, we are essential just as anyone else is. And, to try to knock that and make it seem like, this world doesn't need us a part of society, and to rid us of brothers, to rid us of uncles, to rid us of husbands, boyfriends, friends, fathers, sons, whatever the case may be, to rid us of people who are a part of our group, people who look like us, people who think like us, people who, are our own flesh and blood,
Yeah.
is not right. And so, when we think about, Black Lives Matter, for me, it's a stand in first recognizing that we are of value. We do have a life. We are a part of humanity. And so we need to stop with the tomfoolery. We need to stop with the dehumanization. We need to, stop in, treating us less than we deserve, because we deserve all that and then some, and a bag of chips, with the Coke on the
Okay,
side,
and some juice.
all that, we deserve it. We deserve it all. So, the movement really means a lot to me. Obviously I am, a Black person, and at the end of the day, I have suffered from, racism. I have, been in situations where racial slurs were thrown at me. Like I said earlier, I went to University of Georgia. That's a predominantly white school. And, I would get all types of comments thrown at me, all types of looks thrown at me, words thrown at me, and all of that. And it was, hard for me. But at the end of the day, I had to realize that, hey, my life matters.
Yeah.
I'm a person, and I cannot allow their thoughts and their image of me, and what has been passed on from generations and generations on their end and embedded into their hearts to dictate how I see myself. So when I still look in the mirror, I say my Black is beautiful. When I look in the mirror, I still say I am proud to be a Black woman. When I look in the mirror, I am thankful for the high melanin doses that I have,
Right.
in my skin, because despite the sufferings associated with it, despite the shit that I have to, upkeep, because of the persecution that I may face and all that, it does not trump over the fact that I am a Black woman. And with that, I hold so much power, it's just so many pros, to being Black in America. And we can look at this one thing and say, well, dang, I wish I wasn't Black, or dang, this, that, or whatever the case may be. But no, like, hold on to your virtue, because that's what it is. Hold on to
Come
your
on,
Blackness. Don't sit there
yeah.
and disregard yourself just as other people are disregarding you. So when you think of this movement, yes, Black Lives Matter. But like I keep saying, first we have to realize that to be Black is a life.
Yes. Yes.
You
Amen.
better preach, prophetess.
LOL.
Yeah. Word. Okay,
Man.
and Khalees, for you?
Man, honestly, we could just end the live right there.
Period. Like, no words needs to be said. Drop
No,
mic.
seriously. But man, honestly, Talia, she really hit a lot of points, man. Just from people dehumanizing us and people seeing our skin as a weapon. They weaponize our skin before even getting to know us. And yes, we're definitely more than a stereotype. I know how sometimes how the media portrays us is not in the best light, but no, get to know us. Get to know me, and I think about what Martin Luther King said on for his I Have a Dream speech. He said, no, I want my kids to be judged by the content of their character, not based solely of their skin color. So yeah, what Black lives mean to me, yes, we live and we breathe, we live in these environments. We are living creatures. Like we're not even a creature, like we're people.
Beings.
We have dreams, just like Talia was saying. We have dreams, we have aspirations, we have goals. We're not just some animal just roaming the streets. Like, no, we have life, we have a soul. And I want to say, like, God created us, we're all in the image of God. So I'm no less than you. You're no less than me. Like we're all created in God's likeness. And I just want to say that yes, our Black skin, we are beautiful, we are awesome. And that's not to discredit anybody else's skin. Yes, you're beautiful as well. Absolutely, absolutely. But because of my skin color, I want to say that just don't discriminate me. Don't discriminate Black people. We need attention. We matter. We definitely matter. And I don't want to be looked over as a Black person, and I don't think nobody will want to be looked over. We want the same opportunities. We just want opportunities. You know, we
Equality.
want what any other person would want. We want life, liberty, and the pursuit of
Right.
happiness. And it
Right.
seems like in America, where like even though we pursue those things, it's harder for us to pursue those things than our other brothers and sisters. Why is that? You know,
Right.
let's level the playing field on this thing. So, and yes, that's not to say that other lives don't matter. Like they definitely do matter. But come on, like I don't see other lives, you know,
Right.
being lynched
Right.
in broad daylight. You know, so yes, we definitely matter. So that's what it means to me.
I feel like in this day and age, we need more conversations like this, like more conversations within our millennial group, because like our forefathers did it. We all know what they've done, but they don't teach us a lot of this stuff in our school. They don't teach us a lot of our history. It's mainly white history that we know. We know like watered down of our own history. And going to HBCU has taught me, even though I'm African, I grew up in Atlanta. Like I've been here since I was 8 years old. So like I have my accent, but when I'm talking to like other people outside of my family, I don't have my accent. And it's like I've learned to be able to see growing up as an American and also seeing it from outside. And I think I saw this video on Yvonne Orji. She's on Insecure, and she was talking about what if it would be so dope if Africa will be like Wakanda, like we see all this happening in America, and Africa comes to the rescue for all Black people. And it's like they send the armies, they send people. Like we're more than minority. Like that's just the title they gave us. We're not a minority. We're like 75% or more than that of a race. You feel what I'm saying? Like all race derived from this Black skin. All race derived from what you hating on. Like you're hating on who you are and what you came from. Everything started from Ethiopia and then it went to Egypt. Who are you to come see me now and just see my skin color and be like, you're not worthy of such things? Like you didn't give me my life. The same God that created you with your 2 eyes and your nose and everything, we have 2 ears and everything. That's the same God who took the time out to create me. Jesus is an image of me.
Yes.
Like our God is in the image, like we're all in the image of God. And at the end of the day, you're judging me by my skin color. But when you die, you're not gonna have a skin color. You don't even know how your spirit man look like.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're judging, you're causing chaos, you're killing people, you're saving people's life. And you don't even have the authority to even give life. We even take somebody's life because of the skin color. For you to like it just blows my mind. It's like, how dare you? How dare you? Just because something little that you can even just discuss. There's nothing wrong with a little conversation. Like there's nothing, the hatred in the heart, I feel like it's all rooted in fear. Because you know that what you did wrong. I feel like it's you know how when a child does something wrong and the parents come, they're like scared, like, oh, what's about to happen? That's how I feel like, because you know you went and you took out ancestors from our home. You deprived us, you stripped every single African American from their identity, from their culture, from their language. Now they don't even know where they come from. If God forbid, if everybody's like United States shut down, everybody must leave. We don't, like, African Americans don't know where they're gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Even Americans, they don't even know where they're gonna go, because this land is not yours. It's the Native Americans. But
it's true. Exactly.
Like, they don't, like, you strip people of their own identity. They didn't ask you to come take them. You willingly went and took them, made them work, had them eating feces, had them tied up in such conditions. It's like,
make it plain.
Human, would you even like your children to be in that type of condition? You will not. Yeah. And then those people want to say they're Christians and they believe in God. What God are you believing in? Because God never said to treat other people in such, like, how can you believe in Jesus when Jesus is the same person who went through adversity? People were picking on him for him just being Jesus. And you come and you want to be like, oh, I believe in Jesus. But then you're doing the same thing they did it to Jesus, to other people. And then it's like, Then you bring them here. They did we our ancestors, they all they were supposed to do. They fought. They did everything. And now their children are still suffering for everything that was supposed to be done a long time ago. You will not let us breathe. And you know what I know about the black power. Every time they raise the bar, we go higher. Every time. First it was you need a high school degree. We all got that. Now it's you need a bachelor's degree. We all got that. Exactly. Now it's you need a master's. And we're all getting that. No matter how high you take it, you cannot stop the excellence of what black is. Like it's just embedded in us. You cannot stop the excellence of this glowing mocha chocolateness. Like, come on. When you see me, I exude what you want to do. Like, I look like you, but I was birthed by two black people, two chocolate people. Yeah. That made an albino albino light-skinned child. That can only show you that you can't, like, two white people can't make a light-skinned child. Right. You can't. You can only make another white child. But two black people can make a albino child. Because we're just that awesome. God just made us that awesome. Because he knew when we get in this world, we're going to be picked on. He knew how hard it's going to be for us. He put excellence in us. So we know when we look back within this community, we know, we're dope. Black Wall Street, come on. Yeah. Like, come on. When you see other things that all black business have created, soaps, food, clothing, like, exactly. You can't touch us. No matter how bad you want to kill us off, we will always keep producing, and we will always keep going stronger and stronger. There's nothing you can do to stop what God has created within us. Our bloodstream it's just okay. Come on. Woo! No, okay. So now the second topic is appropriation, and this one right here, it pisses me off so much. Because it's like what you hate, you want to be. You want to look at that butt like us. You want to look at the hair like us. You want to get the nose like us. But you want to kill us. Do you want to be our friend or you want to be our enemy? Pick one.
I saw something that says they want, why do you want our culture, but you don't accept us? It's like they want to be us without being us, if you know what I mean. Like they like you say, they admire the things that we have, but we're not just our hair, we're not just the songs we sing, we're not just the clothes that we wear. Yes, I mean we're dope people, but don't see us just for our dopeness. Don't see us just only the for how cool that we make things. You know, we have pain, like we have joy. Like, come on, back to what Talia said. Like, we're people. We're people at the end of the day. So don't just see us for what we can do for you. Like,
don't just use us. And I feel like our generation has gone to the point like you will no longer use us. You will no longer. We have put our foot. Like, the millennials are not playing no more. You will no longer just think you're gonna come and say any old thing to us. You're not gonna call me an N-word. You're not gonna. You just not. Like, you just not. What you think, Talia?
Yeah, I think, like you were saying, like, as far as like the millennials now, you know, standing up and rising up and, you know, speaking out is just so key. I know before our video messed up, I was talking about the video that I had seen on Instagram a few weeks ago, and it was 3 generations of men. It was like a 50-year-old man, a 30-year-old man, then it was a 16-year-old boy, and the 30-year-old man was getting on the 16-year-old boy and telling him like it was no reason as to why it was 3 generations of black men, you know, standing there all fighting for the same thing. And so he was telling him, you know, you're 16. You shouldn't be here protesting. He was telling him, like, you need to go back home and start scheming of ways, you know, planning and strategizing and coming up with ways, you know, to put an end to this, because you're here at a protest in which I'm protesting, you know, my forefathers were protesting, you know, protests aren't new. And so he was really just trying to let the young man know, like, we've been protesting, they've been protesting, and it's not working. Protesting is not working, you know. So he was just really telling him, you don't need to be here. Like, why are you here protesting when protests have already proven to
Right.
show itself that it is not going to change anything. It's literally not going to change anything. You protesting peacefully, because that's what we want to do. We want to have peaceful protests. But at the end of the day, you're just walking down the street holding up signs of things that people already know. People already know that Black lives should matter. People already know that there's injustices in the world. People already know about police brutality. So all you're doing is informing people who are already informed but they're not trying to do anything about it. And so that's why I feel like, at the end of the day, like, it does, start with us. And even when Kaylee's is talking about, like, you want something, but don't want to accept who that something is coming out of. Like, you want the benefits of, our race, you want the attributes, the qualities, the characteristics, but you don't want to accept, the outer shell that comes with all of that. You don't want to accept us for who we are. You just want to accept us for what we bring to the table. You want to accept us for our brilliant ideas. It's so many people who Black people who have invented things, and then the white man came and now their name is attached to that invention when it stemmed from a Black person.
That's so true.
Right.
And so, that even speaks of it. And I think, like, when Kaylee's is talking, it reminded me of the movie Get Out. And how they went, killing these Black people just to use their bodies because they liked the way that the body was made. They liked the fitness, of the men. They liked how and they looked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like they literally loved it and adored it. To the fact that they will go killing them just to dwell in their bodies.
Boy, so crazy. I believe. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I remember BJ. Last time we were all on a live, and BJ was like, "We all want to wear a cross, but we don't want to bear it." And that came to mind when I'm like, you want to be a part of the culture. I don't know if y'all watched this show called Grownish, and they were talking about appropriation, where one of the guys, I think he's like Mexican or I don't know, I think he's like Hispanic or something, and he's always like talking and doing a little wave check and all of that. And it was like, I think Diggy was like, why would you allow somebody who's not in our culture to benefit our culture? Because at the end of the day, when it comes to fighting, when it comes to being in the front line, will you be there? If I want to date our kings, you want to do all of this stuff, but when it comes to like now, when we need people to be on the front line, to speak on our behalf, to be in places that we can't be in, will you be able to be there? Like, and that's why I feel like the change will only come if we, as our millennials, we get the education that we need, or we start our own business, we start our own community where we only fund each other and not outside of our community. We go to each other's store. We buy each other's products. We go to get our educations and be in positions where we can help our own community, become a judge, become a lawyer, become a police officer, so that it won't be all white people just having like say-sos on our lives. You get what I'm saying? Like when Obama was in presidency, do you know how we felt as a Black people? Like finally we can see I can see a dream. I can see like me doing something like that because I can see somebody my color being a president. It's always been white people.
I was gonna say that makes so much sense though, because it's like when you see like okay, let's say for instance, like with this police brutality things, and you've heard so many Black men say like, well, when I saw George Floyd, go out, like I put myself in those shoes. It was like that could have been me. That could have been my father. That could have been, my brother. That could have been my best friend, whatever the case may be. And so it's the same thing, in more of a positive light that, when if you see a Black man in office, it's like, dang, I can do that. Like I see myself being there one day. And then you start working towards that. But when we don't have these Black leaders, when we don't have, Black people with power, when we don't have Black people, just like, Keisha Bottoms. Like that she could motivate so many young women, to go after political science and, to be in her shoes. So just like we look at, these certain situations with police brutality and then just, our fellow Black people dying out and we're saying, dang, that could have been me. Take that same energy and let that into more positive situations where you're seeing, Black people and Black excellence, around the world. And you're able to say, hey, that could be me. and what do I need
Right.
to do to, to get there? Allow that to be fuel, so your fire, to create a better youth, so you can create a better,
Exactly.
us as a people that will
Yeah.
then, carry on to the way that our nation operates.
Right. I think that's when a permanent
Yes.
change will come. Because like the marching thing is great. It's I applaud it. It's really dope. But the
I just
permanent change will only come when we put ourselves in positions. We open doors for our fellow Black kings and queens to come in. Like my goal is to become Secretary of State. So I know when I get there, when somebody else sees me there, I can be able to like mentor somebody or have scholarships or like do little things for like to build up my own community, because I will not allow myself to die for my children to still be minorities. That would
come
not be a
on.
thing.
Exactly.
So how you
And
feel
I
about
love
it,
what
Khalees?
y'all said. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm getting got up because it's just so real, bro. Like we have to take up space in these high positions. Let's take up space. We shouldn't feel inferior to anybody. We're not
Right.
inferior to anybody, even though people may see us as that. No, you're not that. So definitely put yourself in those spaces and don't wait around for opportunities.
Right.
Make your own opportunity. Create
Right.
your own opportunities. And yes, I agree. I like me personally, I feel like the protesting has worked. But as far as it's a matter of the heart. The protests continue to go on because the heart hasn't changed. The racism, the sin hasn't been no one has like verbally repented of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And even though we are protesting, I feel like sin, it's a matter of the spirit realm. It's definitely a war that's happening in the spirit realm.
Say that.
Racism is demonic. It's
Thank
demonic
you.
at like period. So as we are on our knees, God will begin to give us strategy on how to go about fighting against this thing in the natural, because best believe, yes, our God is a God of love, but he also believes in justice. God, okay, when we all die, everybody's going to give an account. That's justice being served. So best
Right.
believe these people who are committing these heinous crimes against us, they're going to have their day, okay? Like
Right.
God is not going to let nothing slide. The Bible says God is not mocked. Whatever a man reapeth, I'm
He
sorry,
shall
whatever a
sow.
man soweth, he's
He
definitely
shall
going to reap.
sow. I
He's
don't think that's
definitely
even gonna.
going to reap. So man, I look I mean, me personally, I say continue to march, because I have been seeing, change happening even in our judicial system, even in the system and legal systems.
Right.
But come on, vote. There's other ways. I don't agree the violence at all. I do not agree the violence, but
Exactly.
man, if when somebody has taken so much, it's like
Yeah.
what other avenue do you go to? So I don't blame people who feel so angry.
Right.
I'm so sorry, that's my dog. Ah.
You're okay.
So I don't want to criminalize those people who do feel the need to express themselves, because that's probably how the only way they know how to express themselves. But yes,
Right.
there are other ways of going about protesting and getting change, bro. Get on your knees, pray, and after that prayer, get up, listen to how the Lord wants you to go about this thing,
Right.
man. Vote, take up space in these offices, man. And just pray, man, pray for their hearts. This thing is not a flesh and blood battle. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
we don't battle against flesh and blood. We're in this world, but we're not of this world. So
Right.
just because we're living in this world where racism exists, best believe there's a spiritual realm that is running rampant right now. They're going ham. And we have to come back with the fire. Definitely have to come back with the fire, bro. But yes,
Yeah.
Say that. Yes, I agree. I completely agree 100,000%. I believe it's all spiritual, because nothing happens in the physical without it first happening in the spiritual.
Come
And
on.
meaning, like when Martin Luther King was, I to me believe, and when you're doing war, you just don't put all men in the front line. You need some people in the back praying. You need some people in different positions. You feel me? Like, if yes, you could protest. While you're protesting, have people praying for you. Have people like, because in the spiritual realm is when you can see, like you, I think Talia said this before, you can see a brighter scope of things. Like in the spiritual realm, God can show you beyond what you can, like what you can do physically. Like in the spiritual realm, you can do so much more damage than you would ever think in a physical. And when you take your thing, when you take your petition to God to react, can't hell stop what God has to say. If God says today, injustice must stop, it will stop. But I feel like the reason why permanent change has not come because we never took it into a spiritual battle. We've only done it in a physical realm. So it was only momentarily. Like it would happen a little bit. It would die down a little bit, and then it will come but resurrect again. Because we never solidified it in the physical, in the spiritual. We never invited God to come in and fight for our battle. And we can't have victory. We can't fight our own battle ourselves. We only have victory through Christ.
Come on.
That's the only guaranteed victory that we have. If you not invite God, Jesus into it, we don't have victory. We have no powers when we don't have God.
Absolutely.
So now I see the body of Christ rising up. I see churches rising up and praying. I see like us, all of us having conversations and praying. When you go down on your knees and you just invoke the move of God and you go in battle, that is way powerful than going and protesting, because it is heart matter. Hatred is in the Bible says out of all comes through your heart, through everything comes through your heart. Whatever you meditate, whatever you do, every action that you take is something that has come through your heart. And that hatred that they feel towards the lynching and the killing, that is through their heart. We cannot protest their heart. Only God. Like when Moses was gonna go talk to Pharaoh to let his people go, Moses had to pray to God to ask him to soften Pharaoh's heart.
Bring it home, sis.
When Saul was out there killing Christians, he had to have an encounter with Jesus in order for his heart to change. We can't do none of that. Human beings, we are spirit beings, but we have no power. Only the Creator. God created each and every one of us. God knows how to touch them, and God knows how to change them. So until we all move and we ask God to come in and just have a certain type of experience, like have an encounter with them. God, pray for your enemies. Like you gotta pray for your enemies. That's the only way. We cannot just keep having Black Lives Matter. It do matter, but Christian life matter too. Jesus Christ, the blood of Jesus Christ matter importantly. So that's the only way I see it. That's the only way I feel like it will be a permanent change. Is once God is like, okay, I hear my children crying. I hear the outpour of my children inviting me in, because he can't come into a situation without us asking him in. He can't just voluntarily come in. We gotta ask him to, God, come down on earth, do something. Like
but even in the Bible, I can't think of the scripture off rip, but even the Bible, when it talks, the scripture that talks about God coming and healing our land, like everybody prays for the land to be healed, but nobody looks at the prereq, if you will, or what comes before that. And he says, like, you have to repent. Turn away,
humble yourself,
and then I will heal your land. So if you're not seeing any of that repentance, like Haley was talking about, you can't expect the fruit of a healed land when there's no healing of your heart's posture.
You gotta
bring yourself to repentance. And then also, Kaylee, she's so funny. And then also I was gonna say, I was talking to I have a small group. And I was talking to them a few weeks back about this, honestly. And I was saying, you always hear, you were created for a time such as this. You were created for a time such as this. And I think that everybody is kind of, okay, well, I got to go protest. If I'm not protesting, that means I'm not for my people. If I'm not protesting, that means this, that means that, whatever the case may be. But nobody is really taking the time to sit down and think about, okay, I have a purpose. And if I was created for a time such as this, and I'm living in this time, then obviously I have a purpose for experiencing and being here at this given moment, at this current time, experiencing what I'm experiencing. Now I need to seek God and figure out what is my purpose in this
Yes.
season. What is my purpose
Exactly.
for what's going on? Because yes, some people are protesting, but maybe you called to be on your knees. Yes, you know, some people are called to be on their knees, but maybe you're called to be out there talking to those white people at your job who sit there always thinking that you crazy, and maybe you called to speak up on some things. You know, maybe you're called, you know, it's just so many purposes, but everybody's sitting there trying to go protest, and that's great. You know, if that's what you feel like
And
you gotta do, by
abandoning their
all means
purpose.
necessary. Yes,
Yes.
by all means necessary, like, do you, but do not allow your purpose to, you know, not be fulfilled in this season. Like I said, you were
That makes
created
sense.
for a time such as this. So what are you
Yes.
doing with this time?
What are you
What is
Yes.
coming out of, what's the fruit that's coming out of this time? How are you using your purpose? You know, and
Yes.
it's not going to look like
Yes.
everybody else, because we're all one body, but we're different parts of the body. So like
Exactly.
my little sister hasn't been attending protests, but she created a Black Lives Matter shirt, and
Yeah.
she's selling those shirts. And all of the proceeds of that shirt is going towards funding one of her friends. She had like this vision to make lunches for the protesters, and to like get health kits, not health kits, but like buy like supplies or whatever for homeless people on the
Yes.
streets.
Oh wow.
So, you know, God is using her in her purpose of creativity to then fund the purpose that he has for another person, to provide lunches for those whose purpose is to be out there protesting. So if you're not working as a body and doing your part, that girl's vision wouldn't have been funded. And then those people whose purpose was to go out there protesting would be skipping meals. So like, it's a full circle. And when you begin to tap into what it is that God has for you and what he wants for you and what he's calling you to do in this season of life, you will start seeing the dots being connected. But as long as you continue to run after people and say, oh, y'all going to a protest, that's where the party at, and you missing the whole concept of reason as to why you protesting anyways, it's a problem. So, you know, we really need to just really be in prayer and be asking God, okay, I'm present. I'm alive right now. I'm alive in this time such as this. What do I need to be doing to make this change? What are you calling me to do, you know, to make a stance? What are you saying to me to be your mouthpiece, to be your voice, you know, to speak loud and clear, you know, to the hearts of your people? Are you calling me to go and have uncomfortable conversations with white people? Are you calling me to sit there and call people out who engage in racism acts? You know, are you calling me to, you know, do this? Are you calling me to do that? And when he tell you yes, you got to get ready to go. You know, you gotta be you gotta jump. It's not no, okay, well, let me wait it out, because you may miss the opportunity of the change that we could actually need, because you over there, you know, on hush mode, you know, scared, you know, because you believe in people who tell you your life don't matter, when Jesus died on the cross for your life, because it matters so much that he didn't want you to ever die. So while people out here killing, you know, Black lives, and they're dying, Jesus died on the cross for you so that you would never die but live eternally, because your life mattered that much to you know, God, and so that you can live eternally in heaven with him. So when we talk about you know, my life don't matter, no, y'all not hearing me, they don't value our lives don't matter to them. Who is them, and why are they relevant? Because if Jesus sat there and died for my sins, you know, if his grace is sufficient enough for me, why do I care that these people over here aren't accepting me when I've been accepted? Why am I so pressed about somebody's rejection when I've been accepted? Why am I so pressed about you getting mad at the fact that I'm Black, or sitting here trying to throw shots at me because I'm Black, when I'm a masterpiece? Did you not know who created me? I'm a whole masterpiece out here in these streets, baby. Who, like, why you playing? Quit playing with us. Like, you know, don't forget. Let's not forget. He created us and said it is good, period. Point blank, period. So if you sit here talking about it is bad, boy, bye, girl, bye, like, ain't no bad around here. You know, it is good, point blank, period. So be in your purpose. Everybody out here talking about in my bag, nah, boo, get in your purpose.
Your purpose.
Get on your knees, you know, be praying and figure out what it is really that God is calling you to do, how you can use your talents. Don't bury your talents, like, you know, the parable in the Bible. You know, God is telling you certain things to do, but you're burying it because you don't know how to bring forth a harvest, or, you know, you don't want to displease people, or whatever your case may be. Don't bury it. Go out there and try to find a way that you can flip it, that
Come
you can make more
on.
out of it, that you can,
Exactly.
double the investment. Because at the end of the day, God wants to know that there's going to be a return on his investment, that his investment
Exactly.
that his
Exactly.
investment to send his son,
honey. Yes.
to send his son to die on you, that you're going to give him a return on his investment. What does that look like? Winning souls. What does that look like? Spreading the gospel. Those are all
Exactly.
returns, like, on his investment. So at the end of the day, like, what you doing with your life? And if you're joining these protests, what's your heart? Like, we talking about heart's posture. Are you joining just because everybody else out there and ain't nothing open? So it's like, hey, that's the move. Let's go. Like, what's popping? Like, let's get out here and have fun. Da 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 da. Check your heart's posture. Are you for when you're yelling, Black Lives Matter? Do you feel that in your core? Do you feel that in your inner being?
Yes.
Exactly.
And so, it's just important, to look at that, and then, like I said, to go further and be able to ask God, okay, I'm here, and I'm here for a time such as this. What is it that you're requiring of me in this time?
There is more that he requires.
Khalees, you dropped the mic.
Girl, I'm getting my tithe and my offering.
Right. Let me cash up you, like, girl.
Yeah.
My 10%.
You went that in. Like, you went in.
10%.
But no, seriously.
I always talk about that. And I always talk, I think it was a video I did on my YouTube, and I was talking about kingdom business. The same way we have business interactions here, that's how it is with Jesus. That's how it is with God. Everything that he installs, every gift that he gives you, you need to multiply that, because that's the only way he'll give you more. Because if he gives you something and all you're doing is sitting on it, what smart person will keep investing in a dead stock? Like, what smartness is that? You can't go up another level. He can't bless you more if you're just sitting on what you're sitting on. And then you hinder him from even taking you beyond what you're hindering him from taking you to the level that you're supposed to be, because God cannot move out of alignment. He cannot move out of his principle. In order for him to move, you have to do with what he gave you. So that is so true. Like,
and that's why the Bible says, like, if you can't be trusted with little, how can you be trusted with much? To much is given, much is required.
Right.
Oh boy, y'all convicting me. I feel so convicted right now, because they're like, me personally. I'm feeling this message. This message is for me, okay? Because I've definitely been there. Like, I've been there. I'm trying to get out of there too.
Don't let the storm deteriorate you from your purpose.
Yes, amen, absolutely. Because I mean, sometimes when we feel so-called stuck, I remember the prophet Elijah, I believe, he went to the young lady's house, and she had a son, and Elijah was like, look, what do you have? What do you have? I can use that. So what has God given you already? Look at those things. If you're feeling stuck, look at the things you do well, bro. And God can take that and make so much. God can multiply that to the end tower. And even you can see with Moses, he had the staff in his hand, and Moses was like, okay, God, okay, I have the staff. What am I supposed to do with it?
I have a speech impediment. Okay. How am I supposed to talk to these people?
Look at what's in your hands, Moses. Look at what's in your hands, Moses. So yes, that is so good, y'all. Just look at what God has given you. We're so talented. We're so gifted. You guys are so gifted. Like, absolutely. So however God sees fit, make yourself available to you. Make yourself available to God. And I know, like my dad used to say, sometimes it's not those people that we think are so-called anointed that God wants to use. God just wants somebody just available. Say, here I am, God. Here's my hand. Here's my mouth. Here's my feet. Like what do you want me to do in this time right now? Like, this time we have right now, we're not going to get it back ever again. Like, this time, 2020, what, man? Oh, it's preaching. It's preaching.
I remember I heard Yvonne talking about purpose, and she was saying like how she started from her being poor and not having enough money to where she's at now. And she was having a conversation with God, and she was like, God, what did I do to deserve this? And God was like, you're not special. You were just available. Can you imagine how?
But that's so true.
Like, why would you want God to have a plan B when you're his plan A? Like, why would you? And then I like to tell people is like, well, your delay is somebody else's being in hell longer, because you're procrastinating on your purpose, because you're not practicing what God has put in your hand. Somebody else who's supposed to be healed by you is now going to be in their bondage longer than they're supposed to be. So it's like a trickle effect. You got to get in alignment, because if God has to find a plan B, he will.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. That's so true, because God could be wanting to use you, but when you're not available, he will find somebody else to use.
Right.
Like, he literally has so many children to pick from, and you know, he wanted to use you, but if you're not, you know, making yourself available, don't think that he can't still get the job done.
He will.
And so, like, at the end of the day, like, yes, you know, he is, he wants somebody, you know, who is available. And if that's not you, then, you know, he got to keep it moving on to the next person who is.
Yeah.
And you also got to remember, purpose is not a destination.
Mm-hmm.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
It's supposed to, it's you tending to whatever God, if you're a cooker, cook. If you're a baker, bake. If you sew, if you do hair, whatever talent that you have, you sing, you act, whatever talent that you have, cultivate that talent, because from that talent will come different, like for me, it was, what was it? I started singing in church. I started being a part of, oh, I thought I was BJ. I started being a part of praise and worship. I started doing things, and from that's where I'm at now. Like, when you have a calling of God upon your life, he says many are called, few are chosen. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yes. It says many are called and few are chosen. So because a lot of us are called, if you're not available, you can't be chosen. If you're not in the right posture, like how Talia was saying, your heart has to be in the right posture to receive what God has for you. He can't give you something and it fumbles. Like, your hands, and you have to be in the right posture to receive whatever God is giving you. But if you're not in the right posture to receive it, then somebody else can walk by and pick up what you were supposed to receive that they weren't even prepared to take up.
Exactly.
Because you fumbled and you dropped the ball. So somebody else who saw it picked it up, and they didn't even work hard for what they got, but you did, and you didn't even get a chance to pick it up because you weren't paying attention to your purpose. You were trying to get other people to see what you can do. You were trying to get attention, and you weren't trying to get the glory of God. And that's what I think it was. A King Saul, he did the same thing when God told him to make a sacrifice, and instead of him sacrificing all the things, because other people told him, save that one goat, I believe it was like, save that one something, and he saved it, and because of that, he lost the hand of God upon him. I will refuse. I won't care whatever I have to do. If I have to be an exile, I have to be a loner, I don't care. If God told me to do that, that's what I'm going to do. If God told me today, don't speak to nobody else, you just by yourself, as long as I have God, I don't care what nobody feels. God says my life matter. God says I matter. God says I'm important. So he took the time out to create me. I don't care what nobody else has to say other than what he said.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So our next topic is racism. How do y'all feel about the murders and racism and the whole racism thing that's happening? Do y'all feel like how does it affect you in your everyday life? Like, are you scared now, or like, how do you move about now?
Man, I've always, ever since it got real to me when Trayvon Martin died. And it's like, you hear these things, you know, you learn about it in school, like you learn about the Emmett Tills, and it's just like, wow, like, what, that happened? And so I feel like as a people, we've kind of been traumatized, and I feel like trauma, it gets passed down to us. So I think we're like predisposed to fear, to kind of fear our lives when we see somebody of a different color, or of in a suit. But as far as that, man, I have to really protect myself. Like, sometimes I have to get off of Instagram, because you know, it's you see it in your face. And I found myself saying, oh, I can take it, like but honestly, I found myself like really angry. I was very angry, to a point where I had to see, like, God, I need you to help me not to have a a heart of stone. Like, Lord, like take out the heart of stone. Like, I don't want hatred in my heart. I don't want that racism sin to creep up on me and I start looking at everybody sideways. You know, I want to. I just really I really believe that it takes the Holy Spirit to really change the heart and to as far as trauma and as far as like you, because we see it repeatedly. If you see something like over and over again, it's just like, dang, like what? Am I next? And as far as that peace, like I just pray for the peace of his people. But I mean, when I see these things, it puts me on alert. It makes me know like, okay, something's wrong. And it shouldn't have to take somebody dying in broad daylight for us to finally wake up. It shouldn't have to go that far. But I feel like we're up now. We're definitely up, but I feel like we have to keep the same momentum as far as just seeking God for justice and being active and using our gifts and our talents to kind of try to reverse this thing and try to incite some change into this world. So it's totally wrong. I hate seeing it. I hate it. It's awful. I just, it's too much sometimes. It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah. For me, I'm one of those girls who like is always around guys. Like I have like a lot of guy friends, more guy friends than I do female friends. I've just always been like that, but it scares me because I know I have such a large circle of Black male friends. And, you know, I had made a post when the George Floyd situation happened. And, you know, I was saying pretty much like, you know, Black men's lives may not matter to the world, but for the people who are directly impacted, we're losing vital people, vital relationships. You know, girls are losing fathers, you know, wives are losing husbands, you know, parents are losing sons. And, you know, it's sad out here. It really is. It really is sad. But one thing I will say, like, Kaylee was mentioning the momentum. And it seems like it's always just a cycle. Like something happens, it gets the internet riled up, and then a week later we're good and everybody acts like it never happened. Like everybody stops posting about it, everybody stops bringing awareness to it, and then it's like it happens again, and then everybody gets riled back up, and then it dies off, and it's an ongoing thing. But you don't see that consistent momentum of people, you know, continuing to make a statement, people continuing to make a stand, people being intentional to make a lifestyle out of intentionality, and, you know, making a change. And so I think that's something, you know, that we all have to do. And, you know, I've been guilty of it as well. And that's why I say you have to make a lifestyle of intentionality. Like you're always trying to be intentional in, you know, doing, you know, whatever the case may be. And so, you know, I think that especially us as millennials, like, you know, back in the day, like my parents didn't have social media to spread the word. Like the word is spread so quickly now. Like so quickly. And it's just crazy, like how much stuff can get out to the masses, you know, just from somebody posting it. And so, you know, it's important for us to keep that up, to keep posting, to keep speaking, to keep reposting, to keep using these hashtags and all that, and allow that to work for us instead of, you know, instead of us working for it in a sense. You know, instead of people making hashtags out of us, you know, we need to be making use of hashtags to, you know, bring the word to people, to, you know, open up people's eyes and all of that. So I definitely think, you know, that momentum should, you know, keep going, and that we shouldn't stop. You know, a month later we should still be seeing hashtags, we should still be seeing black screens, we should still be seeing blackout dates, we should still be seeing fist up, we should still be seeing, you know, all the cases that should be reopened. We should continue to see that until justice becomes a lifestyle of these people who do wrong.
That justice become a lifestyle, bro. And it's very systematic. I know, I remember like me personally, like having a conversation with my dad, and he was saying like it's very systematic, and this thing has been going on like for years when they were trying to attack and come for men, like men in different communities. They try to tear down the men to try to get to our people, to get to the women and the children, and then to take the spoils of the whole community. So yes, I do feel like it starts with it's very systematic and it's very strategic how they come for us. So yeah, I definitely feel like we have to continue to uplift our men and definitely show them love, um to just keep them uplifted. I really believe that.
That's
So yeah.
true. I believe that too. I believe it's systematic because if you notice, I always see on black on not black, always see on news is always a black man doing something. Like they're always doing something. But if a white person do the same thing, it's like, oh, they're mentally ill. But if a black person does it,
It's
they're
such a
just
distinction.
murderers or they're just
But
serial killers. Like
it's such a difference, bro. Yeah.
it's such a like night and day. Like a person will go and shoot a whole movie theater. They're
Heard.
mentally ill. So okay. So I guess we just don't become mentally ill either. We're just okay. So for me, I just feel like because I grew up like Talia, like I'm a girly girl, but I'm somewhat of a tomboy. So like I'm not really like a girl's girl. I'm more of like a guy's girl. And a lot of my friends are guys too, and my uncles, and my family is mostly men, is rarely women. So I get fearful for them. Like I make sure I pray for them. I'm so prayerful these days than I've ever been in my
Yeah.
whole life when it comes to protecting my family and any men around me. Like I remember when I saw the whole George Floyd thing, I literally text every guy I know, and I was like, please be careful out there. Please be careful. Don't like, please. And then it's like, it is the most, it gets so like, it got to the point where every time I got on social media, I just kept seeing bad news. And it just affected me in such a way where I got like depressed. It brought fear into me. Every time I stepped out of my apartment, I was like, am I going to die today? Every time I get into an Uber and it's a white person, I'm like, oh, I don't want to move any type of way. And they think I'm trying to do something. So like, God had to reassure me. Like he was just like, why are you afraid? Fear is not of me. I never told you that I left you. I brought you. I've always been with you. I'm never leaving you. I got you. And that's when I was like, okay, God. And I had to like distance, like, it's okay to go on social media and spread the news, but you can't just constantly keep feeding your spirit and feeding yourself negative energy all the time, because it's gonna wear you down.
Yeah.
I do believe in the consistency. Like we do have to be consistent in the Black Lives Matter movement. Like if we're not consistent, they think if they could just throw a check at us, then we're good. If they give us a stimulus check, then we're good. They throw one or two cops in jail and we're good. When we need justice throughout, nonstop.
We do.
And if it all starts from us, if we're consistent and we take our dollars from them, that's where we hit them where it hurts, is their pockets.
They love that color. They love the color green. Okay.
I'm telling you, that's where they see color. That's where that color right there matters to them. So if we remove that and invest in our own selves, and we build Black Wall Street, we could build it back up again.
We really can.
We really can. If we just stop spending. We're majority of the spenders. Gas stations, not all of that. It's all us.
Yeah. And I want to say that I'm so sorry.
Oh no, okay.
But you know, we're not exempt as well. Even as Black women, we have to stay alert as well. Definitely stay alert with everything that's happening. You know, because they're not gonna let up on us just because we got boobs, you know. But yeah, keep going. Sorry.
I mean, you heard the president when he was like, grab them by the crotch. Yeah. Have a seat, sir. Bye-bye. The next Jesus. The next subject is the wake up. Like what happened that woke you up and was like, okay, I gotta stop praying, or I gotta go protest, or this is real life. This is getting closer to my doorstep. So let me take action. What made you what woke you up? Khalees.
Me? That's a good question. Give me 1 second. I don't know. Because it's always been around me. I've been Black all my life.
What, Casey?
Nah, girl, you came back last month. Stop.
You know, I've been Black in my life, and I honestly, I think I have, I'm blessed because I live in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, I don't experience it as much as, you know, Black people, my Black brothers and sisters in other states. But and to a point, I thought, you know, I was good. But then I'm not saying like this is the point I woke up, but for me, being in Atlanta, you know, the whole God, what's that man's name? He just died here in Atlanta.
Rashard.
Rashard Brooks. I was just like, man, like, so nobody is. I'm sorry, nobody. Nobody
You're
is
okay, love. You're okay.
I was like, sis getting real comfortable.
like, I'm getting real comfortable. I'm getting real comfortable. Okay, but
Yes.
Then she's gonna act like it wasn't happening. I was like, okay.
I was gonna act like I don't even gonna see what's going on. Like we're not on live.
Yeah, Rashard Brooks. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. But anyway, I mean, I've just seeing it on social media, and I'm very thankful for those schools that give us numbers to call, and you know they give us the scoop of what to do. So I'll forever, man. Right now, I'm on fire. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. Just seeing it right there, then in your face like that, and then I guess we have this stigma like, oh, you know, because it happened, you know, back then. I used to think this because you know you're raised knowing about the civil rights era, and then you're here in 2020. It's just like, what is this is still happening?
Right.
Back when I was in middle school, the Trayvon Martin case, like, what, this is still happening. So
Right.
I'm not gonna let up. Like, I'm up now. Like, I'm
Period.
not gonna let up. I'm not gonna
Right.
let up. And I'm sorry. Like, one more thing, as far as, you know, showing love and showing compassion, I do believe in that. And sometimes with showing love and compassion, sometimes we mistake it for being passive. And I'm not one to want to what's the word, to I like confrontation, but
Me
confrontation is
neither.
good.
I hate confrontation.
No, seriously, like, so I'm just thinking like, no, it's time up to be passive. It's time up to be passive. Not saying that you're not going to show love to your brothers and sisters, but you know, just
Respect is due at some point. Right.
stay persistent. So I'm gonna do my part and just confronting the matters instead of letting it fester and just letting issues go on without it being addressed. No, address that thing. Address it, bro. Cut that thing to the root. You don't have
right
like,
there. Right.
don't just focus on the symptoms. Like, you have to get at the root of the problem, which is like what we said, the whole lie, the heart and sin issue. But confront that thing, man. Don't let that thing just fester, bro. You have to cut that thing at the root. So yeah, that's a long answer. Yeah.
Yeah, good. For me, I think it became like a wake up call when I started experiencing racism, like in an undeniable way, I should say. But I also too, I think I kind of like changed my approach to things and my mindset also through like this class assignment that I had while I was at UGA, and I talk about it all the time. But like I said earlier, UGA is like a predominantly white school. Exactly. And so the majority of my classes, I was like the only Black person in the class. Wow. And I had this one class where I had to pretty much break down what it's like to be Black, our fears, what we go through, to white people. And it was very uncomfortable, you know, for me to sit there and try to get them to understand what it's like, you know. And then also I was like, I'm gonna break this down, they're just gonna look at me and make a mockery out of this because they don't understand. And so it was such an uncomfortable situation. But when I tell you like that the hearts of like my classmates and all that was literally changed from, you know, my class presentation, and they were taking like ownership for the privilege that they you know, unknowingly have.
That's
and,
dope.
ways that they've unknowingly been racist and have, engaged in this white privilege. It really, like Kaylee talked about compassion just now, it really allowed me to have compassion that, like, every white person isn't intentionally trying to be racist.
That's
You know,
right.
that
Oh,
stuff is
yes.
embedded. That stuff is passed down
That-
generations. Oh, you see a
Yes,
black
it's a
person, look at this, look at the side, like, be on your P's and Q's to make sure they ain't doing nothing. That
yes.
white person may not even think that they're racist, but they don't even see how they have small little seeds that were planted in them,
Come
as a child, for
on.
maybe watching their parent react to a black person, or, how they
Yes.
watch their parent, respond differently to a black person versus a white person, whatever the case may be. So, when I would taught that class, it really just allowed me to develop compassion and know, and seeing, hey, some of them don't do this stuff intentionally. They simply don't even know. They
Wow.
don't even know that they're in the wrong. They don't even know that this is how they come off. They don't even know that this is how black people are feeling just because of their existence and how we're treated, so much different for ours. And
Yeah.
I remember my classmates just coming up to me at the end of class, like, really thanking me for that, and thanking me for allowing their eyes to be open, to be able to acknowledge their privilege, and be able to now move differently, when dealing with white people, or pertaining to white people. And,
Mhm.
like, even my professor, like, I had this assignment where I had them write a poem about how, pretty much, like, they're putting themselves in the shoes of a black person. And so I helped them out a little bit, and I gave them an I am poem. And so they had to fill in the blanks, like, with adjectives and verbs and stuff. And
Mhm.
at the end of it, like, some of them was like, I didn't even mean to, but my
Wow.
poem turned dark. Like, they would say, I am afraid that I will walk outside and hear sirens, or I'm afraid that da 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 da. And their poems were so
Wow.
dark. And so one of the girls, like, made a comment, was like, I wasn't even trying to go dark, but, like, everybody's poem went dark. And so it really
Wow.
allowed them to just develop empathy, for black people, what we face, because otherwise they wouldn't have really understood, and they
Right.
still don't, but they have a better understanding, and they're more aware. And that's all we ask,
Yeah.
is for you to be able to be aware of your privilege, and then use that,
Yeah.
to
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 stand up for
empower
it.
black people, and to
Right.
stand up for these social injustices, and to do what's right, and then plant those seeds for the children that you will have, that you're
Right.
making sure that you're raising them to, to not dwell on their privilege, or not to
Right.
ask in their privilege, but to make sure that they're giving everybody, despite their color, the same amount of benefits, that they're treating them with the
Right.
same kind of equality, the
Yes.
same love, and all of that. So, yes, we can say the white people have to play their parts in doing this, that, but, we should also play our parts in making sure that we're educating, and that we're using compassion and love and grace,
Yes.
to be able to extend that to them, to be able to speak to them in a loving way, and kind of break those barriers down, because some people do it intentionally, and other people just do it because it's embedded in them, and that's all that they know, but they don't even know that they're wrong.
Yeah, and I
Right.
want to piggyback off of you. Like, it's a generational curse, bro. It's getting passed down, passed down. Sin is passed through the blood, and it's just
Right.
generational curses that have to be broken. And repentance is a change of the mindset. You have to change your mind about these certain things. So definitely, like, get educated. And
Yeah.
man, I was about to say, but yes, definitely, you have to put yourself in other people's shoes. And I was watching this sermon. It wasn't really a sermon, but it was a conversation between John Gray and Stephen Furtick.
No.
And I also saw a racial reconciliation with Michael Todd, and one of them, it all had a common thread. Like, no, put yourself in my shoes. Like, that's perfect what you did, Talia. But, like, until we expose ourselves to these communities, to different communities, you will never understand for yourself. If you don't even
Right.
try to get to know me, if you don't even try to
Yeah.
know my heart, like, you will always only go off of stereotypes. You will always go off of what you see on the media, which is not true. Like, no, get to know me, get to know my character.
Right.
Like, don't put me in a box. So, and I say that for us as well. Like, if we don't put ourselves in certain cultures and just learn for ourselves, how will we be able to build a bridge? How would we be able to bridge a gap and to have that racial reconciliation if we don't even take the time to learn and to put ourselves and have those difficult conversations
Right.
and be like, hey, I'm Black, I'm Kaylee. What's your name?
Right.
What
Not
is
hey, I'm
do
Black.
you have in mind? You know?
Mhm. I've
Yes.
been Black all my life.
I
Right. Like she can't tell that you're
all
Black by
my
looking
life
at
I've
you.
been Black. I'm so sorry. Anyways, but yeah,
She better love her Blackness, girl.
Right.
I
Hey,
do
I'm
love my
Black. I'm
Blackness.
Kaylee.
Yes,
What's
ma'am.
your name?
I'm Black and I'm proud.
I'm Black.
Okay.
But yeah, man, let's put ourselves in those spaces. We have to because we're I just feel like that barrier just has to be broken. As soon as that barrier is broken, that awkwardness, and we really just look at each other through the lenses of love. That's why Jesus Christ is so important, bro. Have Jesus Christ in your life, bro. He
Period.
will change your perspective, and he will change
Period.
your heart. He will change your mind, and to look at people how he sees people. Just ask God, like, Lord, I want to see this person how you see this person.
Right.
I want to look at this person with your eyes. I pray this all the time for people that I may have a little scuffle with. I'm just like, Lord, give me a pure heart towards them. You know,
Right.
so I think we need to pray that prayer. Like, look, I'm feeling some type of way, Lord. Just be honest. It starts with honesty.
Right.
Honesty. So okay.
For me, I completely agree with y'all said. I feel like there needs to be a desegregation of cultures. Like it shouldn't be the Asians over here, Black people over here. Like it should be a blended situation. Like we're all one race. But my wake up call was when I found out how I got to America. My granddad used to fight with Nelson Mandela. Like he used to like be in the civil fight with Nelson Mandela in Africa, and because of that, my family was on the exile list. So because of that, we had to escape in order for for us to live. So when I found that out, I was like, wait, what? People, what? Because he explained to me the whole thing, and I was like, it just like blew me. Like, who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do? And then when I saw Black Panther, I don't know what it is, but it woke me up to like, it just made me want to like, I don't know, like I want to build I just want to, through my purpose or through my mission or just through whatever I do, I just want to build such a strong Black foundation, a Black community, to where like outsiders would be like, hey, can you teach us how you made this? Can you teach us how you did this? Can you impart some knowledge into us? When you see how Black Panther is, like how they were like one community, but it was just like such a powerful, I don't know how to explain it. And it was just like, they created things that no other people ever thought. They had their own little situation happening. That would be so dope. And when I thought about it, I was like, why do we not have that? And it ignited me to think of like, it's because we don't value each other. Wow. Now we see the value of each other, but we don't value each other. We see each other as like, oh, I can't go to a Black business because they're not gonna get my business right. I can't go to a Black business to get my hair done because they're gonna take their time. And it's also because we don't take our own business seriously. If you have a client or you have a business or whatever you have joy in it, have pride in it, have professionalism. Like the same thing that we get from white, other race, we can get that. We can open our own gas stations. We can do so much, and we've done so much, but we just doodle on our own kind, and I just never understood why is that. But it's just because the visual we always see, like Black men on killing people, or the negative visual that we always see, and is fed into us, and we just got scheduled to think this is how we're supposed to feel about each other when it's not.
Yeah.
But to wrap it up, because it's been a little long minute, what would be your final word? Like, what would you if somebody wants to come to you and ask you, because we spoke about purpose, what does it look like to operate out of your purpose? And how do you know that you're working out of your purpose? What would you say? Talia.
I think that like you said, your purpose is a journey. And I know a few weeks ago I was watching Mike Todd as well, and he made a
Me
statement
too.
saying it's never the wrong time to be in purpose. And so, even if you feel like even if you feel like, well, right now I don't know what to do, or even if you maybe feel like, right now me and God aren't really on good terms, or I feel this way, I feel that way, everything that you're doing in whatever season of life that you're in is preparing you for your greater purpose. And even if you don't know your actual purpose as to why God put you on this earth, as a whole, as a body of Christ, we have one common purpose, and that is to spread the gospel. And so what does that look like? That looks like using your voice. That looks like discipling people. That looks like spreading the word. That looks like showing putting the love of God and what He's done in your life on a pedestal for people to recognize the glory, His glory in your life. And so I think it's important to just find a way to make sure that you're doing something. And I feel like that you're in purpose when you have peace about it. And then also when things just start seeming like there's a way being made out of no way, and things are just coming together. It's like, boom, dang, I got that phone call, or dang, I just met that person, now we networking, and wow, that's crazy, because that's exactly what I needed in order for this, or whatever the case may be. So I think when things start coming together, that you're in your purpose. When you have that burning passion and you're just like on go, that you're in your purpose. But like I said, there's never a wrong time for you to get in your purpose and maximize whatever season of life that you're in, using your talents and your gifts and all of that to to minister to people, and to bring people to Christ, and to just make impact and a change. So
Okay, thank you. I think Khalees has to go. Khalees, you're going. Okay, I think she has to go. But
Kaylee, you're on mute. Oh,
she's still there.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I have to go.
I know we're closing out now, so you can say your final words and then we'll be out.
Okay. All right. Final words.
The purpose thing. If somebody was to ask you how do they know they're working on their purpose, and how do you find purpose, what would you say? That's the final words.
You're on mute, Kay.
Sorry. Thanks. So you find your purpose by going to the master. As far as let's take it into layman's terms. As far as a person inventing something, that person doesn't look to that. I mean, sorry. Okay. Scenario. Say Frankenstein created Frankenstein. Is that wait.
I get what you're saying.
You get it? All right. So
yeah,
somebody inventing something, that invention doesn't ask itself, what do I do? No.
Right.
It's the person who makes the mandate, tells that thing like, hey, no, I created you for this purpose. I created you for this. So I feel like you have to get attached to the purpose giver. And once you do that, I just feel like you'll just start flourishing. And once seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. So if you seek the Lord, God will begin to reveal things to you. Like, hey, I gave you this gift. I gave you this talent. I want you to do this for me. I want you to do that for me. And just allow God to just speak to you about that. And how do you know you're activating your purpose? I feel like the main goal is to save souls, but just helping people, each one teach one, just thrive. Go to God. I'm sorry, I'm rambling because I gotta go, so sorry, but
it's okay.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye. Love you guys. Bye.
Okay, so for me, how I know I'm operating out of purpose, like how you said, Talia, you just feel such like you just feel like it just feel peaceful. It doesn't feel like you don't feel like you're working. It feels like you're enjoying what you're doing. And I found my purpose through what Khalees just said. Just going to God and just asking God, please show me my purpose. Please help me understand what I was created for. I mean, we were all created to worship God and to bring the glory to Him, but we each have an individual mission as well too.
Right.
And it can be either whatever your talent is. Everybody has a gift. Whatever your gift is, that's where your purpose lies. When you're like, I think I remember Mike Todd saying this, when he was talking about it was a video that he did. It's a relationship goal series, Reloaded, and he was talking about purpose, and he was saying it's whatever gift God gave you, what you're tending to. That's your purpose. That's what your purpose is. Like if you like to braid hair, the more you're spending time on braiding hair, the more you're learning how to do different techniques. That's you operate out of your purpose. It's not specific like, oh, I was called to be a prophet. That's not like some people are. That's their purpose. But that's also what are you? There's an umbrella under a prophet. Like what exactly are you doing under that prophetic calling? You get what I'm saying? Like that's what your purpose will be. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I enjoyed talking to my girls all day, every day. And we just thank BJ for allowing us to be able to do this. And did you want to say any final thing?
Hold on. There was a question. The question is, do you think our Christian leaders are passive in their stance with everything that's going on in the world right now? I definitely think that recently pastors have been taking a stance to speak up, and speak on what the Bible says about these things, and speak on these injustices, but I do think that prior to this, there were a lot of pastors and even people who were very passive, and since we're talking about pastors specifically, I do think, with a lot of topics and a lot of scenarios and situations, pastors have grown to be passive because they don't want to lose their flock, or they don't want, to for their church to like drop in numbers. So what do? Like the Bible talks about itching ears. You talk about the things that people want to hear, but you shy away from topics that need to be discussed, such as, those uncomfortable topics. And I do think that, God is requiring of us to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I do think that it's a good start that pastors are now, taking more of an assertive stance to this, and, getting pastors of different nationalities, to be able to come together and do panel discussions and speak out against it. And I just hope that it's something that is an ongoing thing and continues to happen. And it's not just because of the situations that we have seen uprise within the last month.
I believe so too. I've seen pastors who have gone to protests and they were praying while they were protesting, and I believe that the body is rising up in the right manner. And I love the conversation that's happening, like with the different cultures and different ethnicities and races. Like I love what's happening. So yeah, I completely agree with what you said. Is that's all the questions we have?
Yeah, I think that was the only question.
Okay, well, did you have any final words of encouragement or anything?
I don't I guess just, like we were talking about, like getting your purpose, figure out what God is requiring of you in this season, I just pray that you all are able to get clarity, able to get vision on, things that are going on, that you're able to see things in the spiritual realm, see the bigger picture of things, and all that. So yeah. That's that. That's that on that.
My final word will be for you to just do not try to be like everybody else. Stand in your own uniqueness and stand on your own vision that God gave you and your purpose. Do not try to go with the crowd, because the crowd is not who's going to save you. The Savior is who's going to save you. If you haven't given your life to Christ, you should look into doing it. I'm not saying go do it right now. Like, I'm not bullying you into doing it, but you should look into doing it, because that's the only way you would have salvation through Christ. There's no other way but through Christ. He's the only way to the Lord. And from my Christian body, y'all just keep doing what you're doing. I love what I see, and we're doing really good. So I thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys for taking your time out to watch us and to hear our conversations and our millennial point of view. This was just our own opinion. This disclaimer, it was just our own life experience and our own opinion. It's not me. It's not like a staple of how all millennials feel. It's just how we felt and how we see things. So we thank you so much, and we will see you another time.
Bye, you
God bless you.
guys. Thanks for having us.